Here's a fun way to find inspiration through something in your home. The other day, I was going through my office, deciding what to throw away and give away, and really just getting rid of some of the clutter. Do you ever feel like in your office, in your space, you just feel like it's time to just get rid of some stuff, to create some space? And it can feel so empowering to do that. And what I recognized is, wow, there are a lot of, whether it's articles, books, resources, things that I collect along the way, and I have all intention to read them or go through them. And some things, they just sit around and they collect dust, and I totally forget about them. And so this was kind of a little creative spring cleaning. And it was fun to see some of the things that I had set aside to read or consume later, and I never got around to it. And so I thought this would be a fun video to not only maybe inspire you to do the same thing and get rid of some things, and also to find some things that maybe you were excited to dig into that you just forgot about. So I found a couple things that I wanted to share with you to hopefully inspire you in your creative practice. One of them is this masterclass by Joyce Carol Oates. I took this masterclass a couple years ago, I think, and I printed out the materials from the class. I watched the videos and then I printed out the materials, and I haven't looked at it since, which is ridiculous because it's full of so much goodness. And so I was actually really excited to dig into this one. So this was her masterclass. I'm a big fan of masterclass and all of the resources that they provide. They have a lot of really wonderful instructors. When I originally signed up for masterclass, I did it because Judd Apatow had a comedy writing course, and I am so fascinated by comedians, so I thought it would be really fun to take. And then I realized they have so many other courses around writing and storytelling, entrepreneurship, music, poetry. They have master classes about everything and anything. So I started flipping through this Joyce Carol Oates masterclass, and I found this one piece that is so true, and it's a good reminder. Joyce Carol Oates is a remarkable writer. She's written over 48 novels, a number of plays, short stories, really a remarkable writer. So to be able to learn from her is extraordinary. And in this masterclass, one of the things that she says is it's called practice finishing. And I just loved this because I think so many people have this idea of writing a novel or a nonfiction book or long form content, and it can feel very overwhelming, especially if you have never written one before. So it says this. Joyce says there is a neurophysiological impact when you finish something, including a short story. When you write or type that last sentence, you will experience a surge of energy. This is a galvanizing force for new writers, and that is one reason Joyce suggests that new writers begin with short fiction rather than a novel. Novel writing can be exhausting and long. It could take years, and the shadow that novel writing casts is likely to be oppressive for new writers. Allow yourself to have a few surges of energy in the early stages of your writing life by starting small and finishing your narratives. I really love this because this is something that we can do if you have an idea for writing a book. Come up with the book and the chapters that you are excited to write about, but then start with an article. Start with a social media post. Start with posting something on LinkedIn or Facebook or doing something more short form. This way, you're breathing life into what that bigger piece could be. I really love that she shares practice finishing, because writing a novel, you're not going to do it in a day, but you can absolutely write an article in a day, a blog post, a social media post. This is really cool. Practice finishing. I also thought about this with poetry because there's something really beautiful about a long form poem. And I aspire to write a poem that is long and detailed and beautiful, and you can hold someone's attention the entire time. I'm not there yet. Most of my poems are definitely much smaller, and it does feel like that surge of energy that she talks about. I do feel like you get that when you're finished with a piece of work, you get that energy. And this is why I talk a lot about inspiration doesn't strike. It comes when you do the work. When you sit down and you start to do the work, that's when you get that fuse of energy. That's when you start to feel excited because you are already putting in the work. That's what really gets you pumped. So there you go, from Joyce Carol Oates, Practice Finishing. The second thing I found was this little zine from Austin Kleon. It's called Read Like an Artist, 10 Tips for a Better Life with Books. Now, Austin Kleon is one of my favorite authors. He has a series of books that is absolutely inspiring for any creative. Steal like an artist, show your work, and keep going. They are incredible books. And oh my gosh, they just build upon each other and it is beautiful. And he creates these little zines. I actually never even knew what a zine was until I discovered Austin Kleon. It's basically a little self published booklet, and it's usually made from one sheet of paper, and then someone prints it out, and then you fold it and you create this little booklet that you can carry around with you. So, like I said, it's Read Like an Artist, 10 Tips for a Better Life with Books. And I just love this idea. It is so cute. And one of the reasons I wanted to share it with you is because it inspired me to want to create my own zine. So now I've been thinking about what zine I can easily create that someone can print out and use because it is just such a fun little reminder. And it's so small that someone could just pop it in their notebook or keep it on their desk for some inspiration. So I just think that's fun. Create your own zine. What does that look like? Is there a list that you could create? Is there some type of inspiring message that you'd want to share that you can easily create on a page that someone can fold up and put in their pocket or carry around with them to help them stay inspired? Okay, and last, I actually found this notebook. I don't know. Do you have as many notebooks as I do? It is a little ridiculous. I have so many, and they're just full of ideas and notes from conversations and some notes from podcast interviews that I've done or questions. And I just had a lot. So I found this one, and it had some stories that I wrote. I used to be part of this writing community, and we would get together and they would give us a prompt, and then we spent 10 or 15 minutes writing, and then we got to share our work. Not everyone, but some people got to share their work and get feedback from people. So that was really fun because the writing prompt was usually something that I would not have thought of myself. And so it really helped push me out of my comfort zone and stretched me creatively. So I found this story that I wrote. The prompt was called A Close Shave. And I had handwritten in this notebook this story, A Close Shave. So I was reading it and I thought, oh, that's actually fun. Now, we only had about 10 minutes to do it. And obviously, it wasn't the best because it's not a lot of time to create something. But as I reread it, I thought, oh, this could be fun to play with. This could potentially be a poem. So I actually took a little bit of time and turned it into more of a poem. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So I feel like this is such a fun opportunity to go through your notebooks, go through your journals, and take something that you've written. And maybe you want to turn it into an article or a post or a podcast episode or a YouTube video or something that you can share, or even if you don't share it, just something that you get to work on yourself. I wanted to share the poem because, hey, why not? Right? It's so funny. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about how he really did want to share some of his ideas with the world. And he thought, well, I don't know. Does it really mean anything? And is anyone going to read it? But he's such a beautiful writer. And I love the fact that he s- actually started. He got up a simple website and just started sharing his work. And he's having so much fun with it. And it's not about who's reading it, it's more about him just using it as a creative outlet and putting it out into the world. And it's really for him, but he just loves the idea that it's out in the world. I really just appreciate that. I think it's a fun way to create, and you never know what will come from it. But there also is this sense of accountability when you do something like that. So I wanted to share this with you. I thought it was a fun poem. This is what I took from the story and then turned it into this poem, A Close Shave. The old man in the corner caught my attention, peaceful and stressed all at once, sipping coffee, staring out the window, waiting for an answer to walk by. His silver beard nearly touches his chest, unkempt, as if he stopped shaving years ago. Does he need that wooden cane lying at his feet? Or was it a gift from his wife who passed away unexpectedly 10 winters ago? When was the last time he smiled? Who does he call when he has nothing to say but can't stand the silence? He hasn't moved in an hour, still, like time forgot him. And I wonder if I should walk over and say hello. I bet he has stories for days, lessons that could shield the youth from regrets. But his eyes are cold, dark as a puddle, uninviting, yet with a glimmer of hope he can't seem to let go. Content keeping secrets locked in his vault until he's reunited with the only woman who laughed at his jokes, believed in his work, and shaved his face. I had so much fun playing around with this piece, and I actually remember writing it, and I was really happy that I kept it and that I was able to take it, and now it's in my computer, and now I even shared it with you. So I hope you enjoyed that little piece. Okay, I know this was kind of a random episode, but I was excited to share these resources with you. I hope they inspire you wherever you are in your creative process. And I also thought it would be fun because maybe you feel like it's time to go through some of your work, whether it's in your office or on your computer. I'm sure you have folders and notebooks of ideas and maybe quotes or book ideas or articles or something that you're working on. Maybe you're working on some poetry, and this is a fun time to, instead of always thinking about what I can create next, it's going back to some of the work that you have or some of the resources that you might have put off to the side that you said you wanted to look through, and give yourself some space to do that because you never know what will show up. Maybe this is your fun invitation to do a creative spring cleaning for yourself and see what shows up. As always, I hope there was at least one idea or something that you got out of this episode that's going to help you move your creative projects forward. The work you're doing matters. Until next time, go create something.